Okay. So we have all these various databases, right? So there's two ways you can see the data. Either we can help you build a list and save it for you. So for instance, if you wanted to find all the doctors in the country, you would be looking for these industry codes. These industry codes represent the doctors. So I'm going to go move this list over here so you can see it. But when that saves, you'll be able to directly look for the list that you want here for a simpler way of doing this. We just add that feature. The traditional way, let's say you said you're doing roofing. Where do you target roofing at? Like, are you go after tornado damage, hail damage? What's like your primary?
Right now I'm more retail based, so just old roofs that need to be replaced. I'm not in a big hail or storm market.
Okay. So how are you? So you're just doing door to door. What is your go-to marketing method currently?
Google, Facebook, door-to-door canvas teams. We have a lot of referrals, a lot of organic traffic coming in from Google.
Okay. So we'll start with homeowners because that's a good thing for insurance agents too. So under here, we have various types of selections. So you can either build these on your own or you can have us help you. So just like this, I made a list of doctors. So we are able to take the whole database of 100 million rows and you'll be able to easily segment it to this. So then you can
Yeah,
download the list you want. Um, in terms of doing it custom, you have the ability to select if you want every lead to have an email. You have the ability to select if you want every lead to have a cell phone. And you have the ability to remove various types of condos and anything that might be an apartment where they don't own the roof in theory. Um, Insurance people do very well with that type of data as well. One reason is that they're able to filter by the income. It's not perfect, but the rule of thumb is if you're
wait.
calling someone, a lot. What was that? Oh, all right. So I'll keep going. So you have the ability to filter any way you want. So we're making sure every lead here has an email and a cell phone. So we can see over here, every lead now has an email and a cell phone. The consumer leads that you see here, all consumer information comes with the business and the homeowner information. The business and the homeowner information was skip traced. So what that means is this tax assessment record from Washington, D.C., that stated that this person owned this property had a value of this price. And then as you see, there's all these different demographic filters about what the census was from 2020. There's different tax information about the property. And like I was mentioning here, we have median income. And then the consumer contact information is all skip traced to the right side. You'll notice that all these different asterisks are here. Those will uncover themselves when you actually purchase the list. So every list that you save forever, whether it's from 6 months ago or now, you can always re-access. So the system is designed so you can sell your lists. So the system goes from baby white label to big white label. The baby white label allows you to add in an extra email account and can send leads to them. The reason why we have done this is because of quite a few people from GoHighLevel were reselling the leads that they were getting. They were paying us $300 a month, and they were reselling to two different people at $600 each. So they would log in every day, select two lists, and send it to the person that was paying them. Is there any questions up until this point that I can answer? Anything at all? All right, I'll continue. So let's so focus a little bit on insurance. So some different rules I like to do. I typically look for people under the age of 70. Makes life a lot easier, and I'll do like the range of 26. So if you're working on health insurance and or anything that is age determinate, well, if it's health insurance, I'll move it to 60. You have the ability to filter these age ranges entirely. And if you're doing ACA, it's possible you want someone that's a little lower income, or Medicaid. You might want someone that's a little lower income. So you have the ability to put this range in here that every lead you download, you do not want it to earn, you don't want them to earn more than 60,000 in income a year. And maybe you're licensed only in, what state do we want to do? We'll do Delaware. If we hit search, we're going to have a list of only individuals in Delaware that make under 60,000 a year statistically. There's 56,000 results. So this checkbox shouldn't be here. This doesn't do anything. Stupid, shouldn't be there. But if you want to really, and let's say you say, all right, I don't want people that have greater than 3 beds for whatever reason. You have the ability, instead of just unchecking these, you have the ability to plop in right here, beds, bath, and control what it is exactly you are looking for. And when we do that, we come up with 4,734 unique leads that fit that criteria of a smaller property. You see, these are probably apartments, less than 1,000 square feet. And then we have the income range that's under the criteria we wanted, 60,000 or under. So if this is the list you wanted, you'll just want to double check, make sure you have these flipped if that's what you want. So I want to make sure every lead has a cell phone. So it's going to remove anything that has NA where mobile one is. So this indicates there's no cell phone. When we flip that switch, hit search again, it now removes everyone that did not have a cell phone, which was about 1,000 people. So if this is the list that I want to purchase for the day, I have the ability to navigate over to buy save list, and I have the ability to name this list what I want. And naming the list is very important because, as I mentioned earlier, you can re-access any list that you save at any point in the future. So you don't have to rebuy those leads. Granted, the phone numbers may have changed if you're going back to a list from 8 months ago, but we still enable you to re-access all that stuff so you don't have to continuously subscribe to the same stuff over and over again. Are there any questions?
So do you have to call all of these leads? Is that how it works?
I mean, however you primarily do your marketing. I mean, some people call, some people text, some people email, some people throw in to direct mail. They'll do postcard marketing. Some people put it into a Google audience or a Facebook audience. The point is, it can be used for really any of that because we give you so much information that you have the ability to contact them any way that you need to.
I need to send a selfie. How do I get this to? I have a question. Since the new TCPA guidelines or something like that, has that affected as far as calling leads? What was really the impact of that as far as what we do with leads?
That is a great question. And the most simplest answer I can give is risk management.
That's not what I wanted.
Risk management. That's really what it comes down to.
Thought it was supposed to come up.
If you're a call center that has 1,000 agents pumping out 200 calls each, you have a greater risk of exposure. Nothing's really changed because this is what's changed in my opinion. There used to be a lot of loopholes if you got sued. And let's just say Hyundai gets sued for call center activities, for soliciting or TCPA violations. Traditionally, they would go to court and they would say, well, Your Honor, I ran the DNC list. I did my absolute best. Or Your Honor, this was an opt-in. I have an opt-in token. What has happened is, in my opinion, the TCPA basically got rid of those loopholes by saying that if you don't generate the lead with your name on the form and your EIN and everything regarding your business, then it's not compliant. And that's where I then fall under risk management, because how do you do business that way with those new rules? Basically, what they're saying is, if you buy a lead that express consent, and they express consent, they have a token, we have their IP address, publisher IP, trusted form. This used to be the bulletproof rule for companies that try to be 100% compliant. That rule is up in the air. It's all gray again. So again, I go back to risk management, because it's undetermined what's really going to happen. And I don't even think the FCC realizes the implications of what they did to every salesperson in this country, which is like half this country. So it's very ambiguous right now.
Oh, so that leaves us at risk. So we are still open to risk, right? If we don't have our license number, the implied consent, or, and from what I understand, as long as we don't call them by a machine no more. We can't use a dial machine. Is that correct?
I mean, the rule doesn't apply. It's not just dialers. I mean, if you're picking up the phone and entering the numbers and dialing them, and you're trying to sell a service, and they didn't say, "Hey, Shonda, I want you to call me for health insurance," you're breaking that rule technically. And I'll put it this way: door knocking is illegal. So that's why I say risk management, because there's a cost and a minus to everything at this point. And given the rule change, no one knows what the cost impact will be, given that. Because call centers have been living with this forever. It's just now what people were doing all their life, thinking they were compliant with these. The FCC basically said, not anymore. So call your local congressman. It's kind of amazing, because it affects everybody that's in sales. It affects even the accountants that get paid and do payroll, because how do they get paid? The sales guys. So I feel there's going to be changes pretty quickly, because how do you expect a 60-year-old salesperson who's been doing insurance for 30 years to figure out how to do Facebook marketing? You can't.
Can I also ask you something, Brian? I was really on a active call when you started. Unfortunately, I apologize. I didn't get everything. Is there any way that you will have this again, this training, or is there any way that I could catch it from the beginning? Will you send out a recording of it?
Yeah, it's recorded. So I put it on YouTube tomorrow. So I edited it tonight,
good.
and I move it on to YouTube. So yeah, everything goes there, just to, because these are all really good questions, and everyone has different ways of asking them, but they end up having the same question. So it's really good having all the perspectives of the different questions out there.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. But to address the earlier thing, the only way the government says you can legally market to people is through TV, air, social media, direct mail, or email marketing. Those are technically the only legal forms of doing this. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to risk management. If you're the individual sales consultant and you're not running a massive firm, your liability is not nearly as exposed as other people that are out there. And by liability, I mean there's a fine. I mean, the average call center has been doing this for decades, paying the fines. It's just now, does this liability here, how is this going to impact the frequency of those fines?
All right. And also then, just to make sure I had it correctly, where are these originating from? Are they social media leads, direct mail leads? How or is it data mining? Is it a
So this is all traced info. So businesses, these are Secretary of State records. They're listed as the business owner, and then we build programs and connect to different databases like at Nexus Lexis and whatnot to get the contact info and the personal details of the person listed on the business. So we have the business name, they have their employees submitted that they have to the Secretary of State, and then now we're able to get the names, obviously. And then where we come in is we skip trace this info to the contact info. So we have David, David has an email, David has a cell phone. And that's how this stuff is compiled. It's all computer science stuff to match information to build detailed profiles on different people.
Thank you.
But
Hey, does this is Elijah, does the same rules apply, the do not call list to emails and
not to emails. So that's why I mentioned that. There's nothing for do not call list for emails or direct mail. I mean, unless obviously you have the restraining order, but
right.
Yeah, you can obviously unsubscribe, but there's no, from what I understand, federal guidelines on that. It's more so Google moderating it, or AOL, or Yahoo, or something like that.
Okay.
But that's, I mean, the direct mail, I've realized more and more people are doing, and it works pretty well. Where if they're, especially in the real estate market, sending blind offers or what's it called, cash offers and different things like that. Typically from different people I've worked with, they'll send 1,000 postcards out, get 3 people, and they'll buy the properties from 3 people per 1,000. And this was during the summer they were doing it. But everyone has a different approach, and this is what I say. Sales and marketing is like dating. Everyone's approach will work on some people over time. And then everyone just has to be comfortable with.
Right. Second question, if in the dialing, if you use a dialer, like Griffin, there's a couple of dialers out there supposed to, I guess, be able to detect the DNCs or whatever that you're calling. In other words, kind of a filter, if you will.
In what type of way? What do you mean by a filter? So I can understand.
In other words, be able to identify those that are on the do not call list.
So we have integrated that you can plug in and run it yourself, just because, I mean, if we run it 2 months ago, then they're on the DNC list again. I mean, it doesn't do you any good. So we don't run it and claim that it's on DNC. And what this woman was asking earlier, the DNC doesn't necessarily protect you by any means. I mean, it was something for landlines from 25 years ago, and lawyers would reference it in court. And that's kind of what the TCPA is changing on, is that loophole of, well, I ran the DNC, my client tried their best to follow the law, cut them some slack. That's, from what I understand, that is not going to work anymore. And what really that means is more lawsuits will go through in court because they won't get thrown out.
Right.
And then it's going to go, put it this way, Zillow doesn't have a business anymore. Angie's List doesn't have a business model anymore. They're going to fight tooth and nail. So sooner or later, it's going to be an appeals court. There's going to be a stay on it. And then the cycle starts all over again.
Right. Okay.
So any other questions that I can answer on this subject?
Hey, Brian, this is Todd. I kind of came in late. I caught the tail end of that. If I heard you right, we can buy the leads, but no more cold call. I'm not saying no more cold calling. Just we make it flag. We cold call, and we do cold outreach unless they opted in to something, or like you said, social media. But there's the outbound stuff is pretty much, we're going to be on the radar, I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, that's always been the case. What's really changed is that if you were being, so this is what's been compliant for all this time. I pay a marketing company to run my Facebook ads under their account. They generate leads for me and they give me the leads. That was compliant all this time. That is not compliant as of the new TCPA ruling that is supposed to go into effect at the end of the year. The new ruling says if you generate a lead, only the person whose business is stated on the lead form can call them compliantly. So that's why I was mentioning this whole appeals thing, because it affects everybody. I mean, it affects the startup to the insurance agent who's been selling insurance 30 years, and it's been doing what he's been doing. So it's a very interesting situation that TCPA has us in, or the FCC. And I know you just jumped in, but the word I use is risk management. I mean, there's a cost and a benefit. And, oh, what was that? Whose mic is that?
I'm sorry.
Very good. All right. Risk management. It's. Do you have a lot of liability if you're an individual consulting agency or a small practice? My answer would be, you're not on the radar. You are the individual that's an American that needs to make some money. You're not the massive call center taking in all the money. Because at the end of the day, dialing is what gives salespeople a livelihood, being able to make money and live. So, I mean, something is going to be done probably pretty soon, given that simple fact. So, for anyone that's in here right now, if you guys have any interest, what we're doing is we're doing our $500 package for 45,000 leads. You buy 1 month, you'll get a second month free today. So if anyone's interested in that specifically, buy 1 month, get one free for our 45,000 leads per month. Just drop your email in the chat within the Zoom, and I'll reach out to you and get you set up on that. And I'm just gonna go on to the next thing if there's not any questions on the getting of the data and all of that.
Yeah, Brian, this is Brendan. I have a question.
Yes.
Hey, does this deal include solar specific leads?
So there are solar leads in here, but they're very limited. There's like 100,000. Oh, well, there's more now. There's 223,000. So this is another white label. Someone pays us to host their data here and sell it through our system. So they upload as they need to. I mean, this was at 99,000 a week ago, but they have very limited. But all the contact info, we enrich to our data to make sure we update the phone number if it changed.
Yeah.
I represent that these are over a year old, just to make everyone's life more sound. And that's what's been working well. I mean, again, these are leads that typically would sell for 10 to 20 cents, but we throw it all in this one package because it's a white label. The whole point of us, Avoca Data, is to let you guys use the data or resell it. What we did was a little background, we ran a GoHighLevel agency, and we did a little over $300,000 in 1 year because we gave it away for free and we just tied data into it. So we built this whole platform over the course of 2 years, and now basically are trying to enable other people to do the same thing. Sign up for this, get the data. Go ahead.
Quick question on that. If I have no interest in reselling the data, but I have a call center that would be dialing these out, is it the same efficacy of these leads, or should I be looking at something else?
So anytime you're using a call center and dialing, you are breaking the rules. I mean, that's why I go back to risk management, because if you're picking up the phone and dialing someone to sell a service, you're always got risk for TCPA. Even if you're not wrong, you're still at risk. I mean, and the biggest thing I'll say is do not send text messages. Do you know why they made that verification on Twilio? You gave the government your EIN number, your social security number. It's now tied to your phone numbers. So AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon get paid now by the FCC when they report you. That's why I'm saying risk management, and a lot of people don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. All I know is those tools are in place, and it started January of last year. All of this started because Twilio received a threatening letter from the DOJ threatening to hold the board of Twilio and the C-suite basically in contempt of participating in mortgage fraud because of all the mass text and calling. That's why the A2P thing came out in August. This whole TCPA thing, no one was expecting. This blindsided everybody because of how significant this is. But yeah, that's where the industry is. It's in a very gray limbo spot, more so than ever.
Yeah. Okay.
But you would be able to buy any of the data. I mean, you don't have to sell the data. It's into the system that, well, if you are subscribed with us for a year, you might have thousands of lists. You have the ability to sell these lists that you save through your merchant, basically. So it's an add-on where you don't have to do it. But if you have a list from 3 months ago when someone says, oh, I need people between age of 33 and 55 that are homeowners, you save 30,000, you can resell that 30,000 to like another call center, for instance. And this whole system was built for call centers to start with, because I had a client, he was spending 10 grand a month buying 1 million rows of data. And he was a roofing company. And what he did was he targeted areas with hail. Unfortunately, a hailstorm hits Dallas, Texas 3,000 different ways. So if you're referencing a storm from 6 months ago or a storm from 3 months ago, he was typically buying the same data over and over and over again because of the data management side of things. We built this system as a white label where your call center can basically white label this whole thing. They can't sell the data, but you can store every lead you ever generate. Because these leads here, like I said, they're over a year old. We're not representing that these are anything fresh. But the point is, if they wanted health insurance 5 years ago, their phone number might have changed. But they're either dead or they're alive. And if they're under 65, right, they still qualify. They're a client I can call. So we recognize that some of the best lead companies that generate the best leads do not save anything, because they're making $2, $3, $4 million a year from 10 clients. So they don't have the capacity to add another division of their business, which is selling these aged leads. So we built this whole program where, okay, if you're spending $10,000 a month on data and you end up doing things and have results from that data, you have a way to now resell that data through the same system and actually have a tracking record of the data for the person buying it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, this was all inspired by GoHighLevel. The only difference is GoHighLevel gives you a ton of features, but GoHighLevel does not give you a ton of different dynamic ways to make money with the system. There's only one way. For instance, I wanted to sell data. I couldn't do that through GoHighLevel. I could only sell the subscriptions of GoHighLevel. So this is kind of the end result of simplifying that. So on a white label side of things, this is what your full white label is. And actually, before I go into this, if anyone's interested in the buy one, get one free, where you get 45,000 leads for free, you buy 1 month here and you'll get 2 months for the same price. Just leave your email below and I'll reach out to you to get you hooked up with this. In the meantime, here's the white label angle. So you have the ability to make any plan you want. You have the ability to control, are you going to give them leads daily or are you going to give them leads monthly? Is there a trial? How many contacts did they get and how many days did they get? You, on the white label, you get 1 million leads for $2,500. That comes out to 1/4 of 1 penny each. So if you sell them for 1 penny, you now make $7,500 with that little bit of an upcharge. Also within here, you have the ability to make customer groups. And what this is retargeting. So if someone in your system searches, let's say, businesses that are in, let's say, Arizona. Oh, let me save it. So they search for Arizona. We now have every single person who ever searched for leads in Arizona. So we have the ability to make custom promotions to people who do specific searches, similar to retargeting on Google. So if I was to select this person, I now have a group, and now I have the ability to make an entirely custom offer that goes to that. And you can tie in the plan you're going to do and everything like that. So the whole system is made for customization. It's made to make sure that the people buying it from you are getting the best of both worlds. The last thing I'll point out is the whole website is customizable. So all the content that appears on the homepage of the white label, you have the ability to control all of these things, control the pictures. We just integrated ChatGPT into here, so you'll have the ability to write all the content with ChatGPT. And like I said, trying to make it very easy for anyone to use and sign up for. So I'm going to wrap this up unless there's questions. I'll be here for the next 20 minutes to answer any.
I just had one, Brian. I'm sorry if you may have already answered it. Are these all B2C leads, or can we do B2B if we're targeting businesses?
So I'm not going to say everything, but everything, because right now what's in here is people, homeowners, businesses. So here's your B2B. And there's leads, insurance, and solar. So we're adding more B2B because there's another white label person coming in who has like 40 million business owners and partners and all of that to complement this. So answer, yes, there's B2B right now. There's 3.5 million. And longer answer is it's going to keep growing with different types of databases that you see here. So we're uploading 2 million real estate agents. So you'll have a real estate agent database and all the various different things like that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll be here, like I said, for a few more minutes. I'll answer any questions you have. Oh, is there a question here? No. So appreciate it, everyone. Reach out to me, anything you need, and I will talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Great presentation.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very well.
Real informative.
I'm going to be emailing this recording to everyone once I put it to YouTube just to answer Mitchie's question. So
Okay.
you guys will all get an email tomorrow and a text message possibly tonight or tomorrow with the link. And then you can all review it and do whatever you need to with there.
All right. Thank you.
All right. No problem. Thank you, guys.